Hi, so this is my speech on meditation. I've been studying meditation for the last 10 years now. It's been a practice that you have to cultivate from your inner discipline. You have to start with maybe 10, 15 minutes of shutting off your mind, quieting your mind, and the benefits of meditation are so much greater than most people know, that a lot of people in the West have started to do meditation to gain the benefits, and a lot of people in the West, they don't really know those benefits. So I'd like to share with you today not even meditation itself, but the meditation philosophy. So if you're not practicing meditation, then at least you're learning the philosophy. And we take this to our day-to-day life. So we are going to go through, I'll bring my notes right here. So here we have my enlightenment story. So I would go for 1.5 hours of my yoga practice. I would do an hour of standing and like all the twisting poses, so my spine was good. And then when I did half an hour of meditation, my spine was in perfect alignment. That's going to distract you. If your back is hurting, it's going to distract you. So after about 30 minutes, maybe the final 5 minutes or final, like, there were probably only 15 seconds where I actually felt enlightened. You know, the greatest possible feeling. So, enlightenment can be a single moment. However, when you get very realized, enlightenment is many moments. It's many moments, and you look at Jesus, you look at Buddha, they could become enlightened for maybe 10, 15 minutes at a time, where my 15 seconds, right? I've been practicing yoga for 10 years as well. And so I've become very good at yoga meditation. So my 10, 15 seconds, they could do it for 10, 15 minutes. Um, so the Western mind, really, I feel they really need to open up to this, where every day, you should be searching for something, a little bit of enlightenment, because that's what the mind is craving. We want all these external things, like we want food, we want our TV show, we want, and when it becomes excessive, then that's our problem, right? So if you can find that inner peace, you no longer have craving for desire. And so find that even if you start with 5 seconds, or even if you just find a few seconds of peace, you might be able to shift your mood and avoid, being depressed one night after work and watching 3 hours of TV, even though you should be watching one, and, still going on a date, or doing whatever you think. Um, but yeah, I'll share my intensive training. So it took a lot of work and time and effort to get here, and I'm a yogi only because of the amount of hours and time and effort I put in. I'm also a bodybuilder, so I did yoga to the level where I actually felt that it was more beneficial than the gym. So I learned from the yogis in India, and I was doing it for like 3 or 4 hours a day, every day. And it's what really transformed my life, because I would get so much sweat. I would, get so strong, in such good shape. And then 5 years ago, I found bodybuilding. So I was able to take my, 4 hours of yoga and transform it into the gym. And that's when I got really strong. So if you're talking to a guy like me, meditation is all about your inner strength. So if you look at the chakras, align your spine, meditation is a physical experience. If you want to reach the metaphysical, you have to start with the physical. So I did my 200 hours yoga teacher training, and I went far beyond the requirements of my study, and like I said, 3 or 4 hours, but I did 10,000 hours of practice, and that's what really got me good at meditation, but also pranayama. So pranayama is the specific breathing. The breathing exercises, meditation will not work without breathing. If you want to get very good at meditation, there's specific breathing. So you can just breathe however you want, but when you want to get very good, you follow the breathing practices again of the yogis, and then that will help you get very good. I work on the yoga postures as well, so we have to make sure the spine is, quiet to the mind. So if your mind is constantly telling you your back is sore, and again, I said this in the beginning, then it's going to be taking away from your inner silence. So let's talk more about that, the inner silence. So we have the 8 limbs of yoga. And so I have the yama, which is the external ethics. So when you look at your relationship with other people, how are you treating other people? My relationship with other people is a direct reflection on how my meditation practice is. And then we have to look at the niyama, which is the internal ethics. So if you're a constant battle internally, your meditation is never going to work. It's never going to work. You have to constantly be in harmony with the outside world as well as the inside world. It's a give and take relationship. And then we have the yoga poses like we talked about. Then we also have the breathing we mentioned. And then this one's really important. Withdrawal of the senses from the mind. Where are my senses? Are they craving desire? Am I craving that sweet or that, that popcorn or that chips, that pizza at the end of the day? Is my mind focused on that sensual desire? The TV show, am I focused on that? Or am I focused on my work? The people who become very successful in their job in the corporate world, they are so focused on their work. They are, completely immersed in what they're doing. And the people who are unsuccessful, their senses go to the outside world, and then vice versa with the people who are successful. Then we get to meditation, but meditation is nothing without concentration. Like I said, a single moment turned into many moments. And so you find your single moment of peace and you transform that into as long as you can, right? As long as you are able to. Okay. So let's take a second to do a breathing exercise. The sound ha on the tongue with inhale. So we're going to do it 2 ways. So we're going to inhale with the tongue just slightly sticking out of the mouth, not too much, so just a bit. And then I want you to exhale through the nose. This is very good for filling the lungs more. So just be sure that you're strong within your breathing if you're breathing in through the mouth, out through the nose. Now people normally say in through the nose, out through the mouth. So a prolonged exhalation is what you need. So that will help relax the mind. Just make sure you keep your strength in your lungs when you're fully exhaling, and you can have a prolonged exhalation. One more time. Okay. So if you fully exhale, if you do not fully exhale, it's a sign for a bad heart. The physical heart, the mental heart. It's like when you take a deep breath, right? Or a sigh of relief. That's when people, are so grateful for their mental heart and their physical heart. And that's when you can, just let it go and be at peace. Okay, so I have breathing exercises throughout the day, but then I have my 40 points that we go through. And then I also have an interactive part where everyone gets to, share. And I would like to share my phone number as well on WhatsApp. WhatsApp is a great way. I would like to actually create like a group conversation where anyone can ask questions and I will respond, I'll answer as I go. And that's a good way of two people have the same question, or it's a great way for everyone to learn at the same time. Okay, point number 1. The lungs have 6,000 air sacs. 4,000 of them remain unused because they're filled with carbon dioxide. So again, we have to make sure we're inhaling completely, getting stronger, but also exhaling completely to make sure that anxiety is the cause of too much CO2 buildup in the lungs. So that's why when we work out more, we're emptying the lungs of carbon dioxide, which is going to get rid of all anxiety. We'll also talk a lot about the ego today. So when you say no, the ego is there. When you say yes, the ego disappears. The mind is sound. And turn off sound to turn off the mind. Do not judge your thoughts. It will take away from your meditation. So we must constantly be turning off the mind when you're meditating, then you have a thought about something, and then you're meditating, you bring it back to silence. You don't want any thought, thinking about this thing that's going on later, thinking about that thing. And it's easy to do, but you want the mind of complete silence. And it takes practice. And so do what you can, and maybe you find your enlightenment this way, like I did. You get really good in your 15 minutes of meditation. You might be able to find, a few seconds of enlightenment. You don't know if you practice, because everyone experiences enlightenment in their life. So we must be in control of our anger. Anger is a great way to help people. And you must look at, when did I get most angry in my life? Am I equally as strong as I was then? That's a good start. Am I stronger than I was then? Because if you're more powerful than you were back then, when you were most angry, then it's a good way. It won't happen again, right? You're in control of it. Anger is all about energy, so you look at your most anger, and is your energy level higher than that? Are you able to be in control of it? And then that way you can possibly help people. Okay, so no matter how many cars, how big of a house you have, how many beautiful women, you are just the same as a rich person in your frame of mind. And so we have to really, we strive for these things, but it's not the most important thing. So I feel like money is so important in our world, but we also have to strive for greater understanding, greater knowledge. And this is why I want to teach meditation to people with money, because it's so important for them to also strive for that peace as well. Okay, when comparing two peaks of the mountain, one, you go 100 kilometers on top of the mountain. The other, you go along the bottom for 1,000 kilometers. Always choose the path of less struggle to give yourself ease. It's going to take you longer. Not necessarily, but always choose the path to work harder, to be smarter,